Good evening, everyone. I am Stephen LeBeau, and Edgar Ramos is the chair of this Municipal Services Committee for Community Board 7. I am the co-chair, and tonight I will facilitate today's webinar. And the topics are on the agenda that we had distributed for this meeting, which will be a presentation from the New York City Department of Transportation, DOT, regarding the Fordham bus lane redesign. And then also the MTA will make a presentation regarding ADA upgrades at the Kingsbridge Road station on the number 4 line, I should say. So those will be the topics. We'll have the presentations. There won't be any voting on anything tonight or anything like that. That will be for executive meeting, but we will have the presentations, and we could have questions at the end of the presentations. And Carla may make the Q&A section available on the Zoom, and then also verbally, orally, you should be able to ask your questions of the presenters and have them answer our questions. So controls while joining from a landline or a cell or by calling on a dial-up number to hear all the available commands, you enter star star on your phone. You enter *6 if you need to mute or unmute yourself. You enter *9 for virtual raise hand. And to raise your hand, you can click on the heart emoji at the option, and the option to raise your hand will appear on the Zoom conference. And before we begin, I'll go over the community guidelines. Everyone beside the speaker or the presenter will stay muted throughout the webinar. And use *6 to mute or unmute yourself. After each presentation, we'll ask whether anyone has any questions, and then you can ask the presenter or facilitator a question by pressing the raised hand button on your screen, on the Zoom screen, or by *9 virtual raise hand. And only those recognized by the facilitator will be allowed to speak. Others, be patient until it's your turn to speak. And we'll stay on the topic with the agenda items and not go off on any other topics. So this is a webinar, as we said earlier, and the committee will not conduct board business. We won't have any votes or minutes or make motions or that kind of thing. That will be a voting matter, which will be brought before an in-person committee meeting. So for the first presentation, I think we're ready for the Department of Transportation.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dorisa Cruz. I'm the Bronx Borough Commissioner for the New York City Department of Transportation. Tonight, I'm joined by Renee Luciano from my team, as well as Leora Nevins and Nolan Levinson from our Transit Development team that are leading this project. I'd also like to give a moment for our MTA partners to introduce themselves.
Good evening. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jonathan Flynn. I'm the Assistant Director of Government Community Relations, and I cover the Bronx, and I'm going to pass it to Rob.
Hi, Rob Thompson. I'm in bus service planning. I'm the Assistant Director for Manhattan and the Bronx. Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, without further ado, just because I know that we want to get into this proposal, I'll pass it to our transit development team to just lead us through the proposal for Fordham Road, our offset bus lanes. Take it away, Leora.
Everyone, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Just speak a little bit, just a little bit louder, but we hear you, yes.
All right. I need permission to share my screen. Great. All right. Looks good. Can you all see this presentation? Oh,
Yes.
sorry. Oh no. One moment. My apologies. So sorry about this.
Okay.
Just a moment. All right. All right. There we go. Hello, everyone. My name is Leora Nevins. I'm a project manager at New York City DOT, and I'm presenting about the Fordham Road bus priority. Thank you very much for your time and attention. So, as you may have heard, in February, the mayor and the DOT commissioner, in partnership with the MTA chairman, announced the project restart on Fordham Road. This is a critical project to deliver better and faster bus service for New Yorkers, with the goal to improve bus speeds by at least 20% on the corridor. Buses on Fordham Road travel as slow as 5 miles per hour and are unreliable, which affects about 130,000 average daily riders. The image on the top right is showing the project extent between Sedgwick Ave and a little bit past Southern Boulevard. And Fordham Road is in the top 10% of most dangerous corridors in the Bronx, with 70 serious injuries and 4 fatalities in the past 5 years. DOT will upgrade the current bus lanes to offset bus lanes, as well as widened curbside bus lanes, to better separate buses from traffic and to provide new dedicated spaces to support commercial activity, while also providing the opportunity to enhance the public realm and improve traffic safety. The photo on the bottom right is an example of an offset bus lane on Webster Avenue, not too far away. So we've had many years of outreach leading up to this project restart. So back in 2019, DOT began outreach on Fordham Road. The outreach and the analysis continued through 2023 with merchant surveys, street intercept surveys in the Fordham and Belmont bid areas. There was a telephone survey of area residents and over 40 meetings with community stakeholders such as elected officials, community boards, community advisory boards, as well as other community organizations. An extensive traffic analysis was done by DOT to determine the project extent and the design, and DOT decided to go with the offset bus lane design. And then since 2023, we've been continuing to monitor and study the project area leading up to our current round of outreach. So our current round of outreach has included conversations with elected officials, business improvement districts, businesses, and now community boards. In addition to the outreach we had done in past years on the corridor, just this year, last month in April, DOT Public Engagement Unit visited 217 businesses along Fordham Road. Businesses were able to share information about their delivery timing in detail, and DOT informed businesses about the design and heard feedback about their curb use needs. Throughout that on-street engagement study, we found that 60% of surveyed businesses reported receiving deliveries in the existing curbside bus lane. So the proposed design will create new loading zones that will be available throughout the day, which will be separated from that bus lane. So that is the design is aiming to, reduce the conflicts between business loading and bus operations. So the top right is showing the existing condition. So we have the curbside bus lane, 2 travel lanes in each direction. And we will be converting many of the existing substandard curbside bus lanes into loading and parking lanes, and then converting the adjacent travel lane into an upgraded 24/7 offset bus lane between Hoffman and Sedgwick Ave. So that's that middle graphic, which is showing the parking and loading lane, and then the offset bus lane, and then 1 travel lane in each direction. And I'll also point out that the lanes are being widened from 10 to 11 feet to meet current safety standards. So there are also, that's the general design, but there are certain locations that have left turn lanes or other geometric constraints where the bus lane will remain in the curb lane, but will also be widened and improved to upgrade the existing condition. In all situations where the bus is picking up and dropping off passengers, buses will pull to a curb to the bus stop to load and unload. In addition to the roadway treatments for the bus and travel lanes, there are many pedestrian safety treatments and expanded public space treatments involved in the design. That includes painted pedestrian spaces with planters that also act as hardening treatments against to protect pedestrians from traffic, rubber speed bumps for turn calming, for slowing down turning vehicles, as well as a potential slip lane closure at Bryan Park. This is another map that just highlights the project area and shows the upgraded bus lanes, which will be throughout the corridor, and in yellow here at either end. There will be a new bus lane to just ease the transition into the bus lane area. I'll also point out that there will be a new eastbound left turn ban at Davidson Avenue and a new westbound left turn ban at Grand Avenue as part of the project to help facilitate traffic flow along the corridor. So since the design is introducing a lot of new space on the curb, we will be updating the curb regulations, which we really lean on the results of the on-street business survey that we conducted, so that we can really update the curb regulations with the understanding of the conditions and needs of each block. So these regulation changes will reduce double parking and conflicts with the bus lane, improve access to businesses, prioritize commercial vehicle access on Fordham Road, as well as on adjacent streets. And the planned parking regulations will be tailored to each block, like I mentioned, and it will include a mix of commercial vehicle and passenger vehicle regulations that will vary by location and by time of day, again, depending on that particular block. But for example, you could have a block that has 60 feet of commercial vehicle parking and the rest of the block having metered parking for passenger vehicles. And another example would be that the whole block could have vehicle parking in the morning for commercial vehicles, and in the afternoon, it could switch to passenger vehicle metered parking in the afternoon. So you have that location-specific change versus the time-specific change, and we are, studying very in depth and trying to, balance the needs of all people trying to access Fordham Road. I'll mention enforcement. We have had stationary cameras on the corridor since 2011, and automated camera enforcement, known as ACE, was implemented in 2022. Our bus-mounted camera system issues violations to vehicles occupying bus lanes, to double-parked vehicles along bus routes, and to vehicles blocking bus stops. I should say this is MTA's program that we partner with them to help enforce bus lanes. So bus speeds did not significantly change after ACE was implemented on the corridor, which is why we're coming to the corridor with improvements now. We also have ongoing close coordination with NYPD to help enforce the bus lanes. And we also have continued collaboration with city partner agencies to address street vending, which is something we've heard concerns about throughout our engagement over the years. So the expected benefits of the project are that there will be pedestrian safety improvements due to the shorter crossings, clearer sight lines, safer turns, and better organization of the roadway space. Transit performance gains, being faster and more reliable buses with fewer blockages, traffic flow and loading improvements, so more curb space, like I mentioned, reduced double parking, clearer lane use, and better signal progression, as well as the benefits for local businesses because of the more predictable loading, easier customer access, higher foot traffic, and a better, safer overall streetscape. So this image is showing a similar project that was implemented on Hillside Avenue in Queens last year, which has resulted in up to 28% improvement in bus speeds, as well as lots of new curb space for accessing businesses, both for loading and for customers. So we are currently presenting our final proposal to community boards 5 and 6, in addition to tonight with 7. In the early summer, that's our target date for implementation. So during implementation, you'll see that Fordham Road will remain open, so cars will be able to drive and access it as usual with minor traffic slowdowns while markings and signage is being changed. So we also do encourage the crews to work in off-peak hours, but you might notice some slowdowns. We expect bus lanes to be operational in the late summer or the fall. And like with all of our projects, we plan to have an ongoing monitoring of the project area as well as engagement. So we will, welcome hearing from you all to know how things are going on the corridor and hear how the project is performing. So that brings me to the end of the presentation. But we definitely have time for questions, and I'm happy to go back to any of the slides to talk in more detail.
Thank you, Leora. Any questions for Leora or comments?
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead, Jean.
Now, we're not eliminating parking spaces on Fordham. We're just adjusting the times that you can park your car on Fordham. Because for people who drive over there to go shopping and say pick up a lot of things, we still have parking spaces. They're just time regulated. Am I correct in that?
That's correct. There will be some changes to the hours of those parking spaces. But we will also, in addition to changing some of the hours where the bus lane will stay, there are some blocks where it will stay on the curb. There will also be blocks where the travel lane, let me go back to the picture, like the existing shows the curbside bus lane that's existing, and I think that's what you're referring to, how there are some hours where you can park there. Mm-hmm. So in the planned no left turns. The second image is showing that we are converting the next travel lane into an offset bus lane. So there will be many places where a new parking and loading lane will become available. So there will be a mix of commercial loading and also some parking that can be available to customers, for example, who are accessing businesses. Does that help answer the question? Please let me know if I should clarify.
No, that clarified it. My other question is that left lane, you have planned left lane turns at certain blocks you cannot turn down. So if you had to get into those blocks, if you needed to make a left turn, you got to go through another block and come back around. Is that what you're saying?
Right. So okay, two things. This image at the bottom is showing places where the left turns are allowed and the roadway isn't wide enough to have a parking lane, a bus lane, a travel lane, and a left turn lane. We will have the bus lane remain on the curb. And then we will have a left turn bay, and there won't be a parking and loading lane on that particular spot. Most of the cases where that exists, we will be providing parking and for commercial loading and for customers on the adjacent street. So it might be just around the corner. But I think there might be a second part of that question, which is about the new turn bans that we're introducing. So at westbound at Grand Avenue, yes, you would need to go essentially around the block, as well as at Davidson in the eastbound direction.
Okay. Only those couple of blocks that you have listed, will you not be able to make a left turn? And you just have to make the adjustment at those blocks?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. Will parking enforcement agents be around to give appropriate tickets if motorists or commercial vehicles not abide by the new signage?
Yeah, thank you for the question. We work very closely with the NYPD especially when we implement changes or a new bus lane project. And so, especially in the beginning, once it's implemented, we will definitely have a presence of enforcement agents who will help explain the new regulations and ticket as necessary. But we will also, welcome comments from you all if you hear that there's a need for, a closer look on the corridor. So yes, there will be an enforcement partnership that is ongoing.
Okay, because I live near Gun Hill, and with the new lane there, I encounter cars parking on sidewalks to unload because there is no space on the travel lanes to stop and get unload their vehicles.
Okay, yeah, I'm not as familiar with that project, but my colleagues from the Bronx office can help address that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, especially for Fordham Road, because we're able to provide this parking lane with the offset bus lane, we'll have more room for that loading to happen. That's actually some of the feedback that we received is that, loading right now happens in the curbside bus lane, which makes then the bus lane not as effective as it needs to be. In regards to Gun Hill, I'm happy to go out there and take a look at what regs we have, because I believe as part of that project, we did do loading zones, but we did it on the side streets. So happy to come back and reevaluate that.
I will follow up and find you at midnight.
Sounds good.
My own observation was that
Thank you. Stephen, can you hold on a minute? We've been joined by the council
Sure.
member. I'll yield the floor to her, and then
Okay.
you can take over.
Good evening,
Oh no,
council member.
I'm driving, so let me yield to me later. Thank you so much.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Okay. No, I was going to say my own observation is a lot will have to do with the enforcement because the problem that we have now is a lot of double parked cars and trucks and all that. And the other thing I wanted to say was I noticed that in Manhattan, and I noticed around where the hospital is, Columbia Presbyterian Hospital is, and up and down Broadway up there. Like you say, they changed the parking situation so that trucks loading and unloading would be able to load and unload to the supermarkets and the bodegas in the morning, and the metered parking would be after 1 o'clock. And I think that did clear it up a little bit. And I saw that you have here in the presentation, you're thinking of doing something like that here too in some of the instances, and that probably will be helpful as well to a small degree anyway.
Yes, thank you for that. We're definitely planning to tailor it to the timing of the deliveries and also the shopping. So thank you for making that comment. And we're definitely planning to include that type of treatment.
Okay, let's see who else has a question. Toby has a question. Toby Buford.
My question is, along Fordham Road, there's Morris Avenue. Morris Avenue, you're able to turn left. However, the traffic light is below it, and it often causes a problem. I'm wondering if you guys looked at that to see if they're, like you're doing with Grand and Davidson, a area where there's no left turns. Have you looked
For
at that?
Morris,
I'm
You're
sorry.
saying the left turn from Morris onto Fordham?
I'm saying when you drive down Fordham Road or up Fordham Road, when you get to Morris, you can turn left.
Fordham
You can
on to
turn left.
Morris.
You can turn left onto Morris going down. You can turn left onto Morris going up. However, there's no traffic light there. The traffic light is the next block, over, and the next block over. So what that does, it causes like a stall for people. It's difficult to cross. And I was wondering if you looked at that as you looked at Grand and as you looked at Davidson, to say there should be no left turns there, because that leads you into West 190th Street up to Kingsbridge. I'm wondering if you guys took a look, if your study took a look at that and the effect that would have on allowing that traffic, since you're having traffic go above anyway. What, when you get to Davidson and Grand, there are no left turns. Are you going to have the same thing? And I believe that Grand, so left, yes. Or am I saying right? Right. I'm saying, I'm trying to remember that. Right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't. Well, it's left going if you're going down, and it's right if you're coming up. Have you looked at that?
yes, I think that is a bit of it's an odd location, so it's helpful to hear that feedback from you, and we can take another look there, and see if it would make more sense to have it banned. But yes, that's what I'll say. We can take another look because I know it's a bit of a weird situation there. And if it's going to cause slowdowns, it might end up being an issue. So we can follow up about that.
So
Thank
just to
you for
recap, you're
considering.
talking about Morris.
Yes, I'm
Morris.
talking
Okay.
about Morris, and
Okay.
I was incorrect when I said it's not. It's a left and a right. And the Morris hits Fordham where Modell's used to be, so people
Right.
have to turn. They have to
Right.
turn both ways. Okay.
Okay, Helene, you have a question?
Yes, I have the perspective of a pedestrian, someone who crosses the streets, who would not drive on Fordham, and I take the buses. So I have two issues. One, when you did your survey, did you look at the volume that gets on these buses? Because you have. Okay, are you planning on perhaps doubling the number of buses? Because I every time I take the bus on Fordham Road, I don't know how the bus drivers can even do their job. I'm very serious. It's unbelievable. So all these changes, even though they sound very good, will not really get us anywhere if you don't increase the number of buses.
There is very high ridership. I will defer to my colleagues from MCA to talk about bus schedules and such.
Hi, yeah, we do check ridership along all bus routes on a fairly regular basis. I know that the BX12 is a route that, it does get really packed at times, depending on where you are and what time of day. But I think as part of this project, we will be taking a fresh look at the ridership and make sure that we have enough buses for the to match when and where people are getting on.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there literally have been fights on the buses, or certainly theft. It's just it's horrendous. Now the other issue is, again, it all sounds interesting, and I think this probably will help. What are you doing for outreach though? Because having the police officers there directing when it's happening is not going to be enough. Are you doing the spots on Channel 12? What's your outreach to educate people? Because literally, it's a nightmare crossing the street on Fordham Road even now when people think they know where they're going. You literally take your life in your hand. The last time I was there, actually, I saw someone get hit by a car because they were running away from someone else. I mean, it's a challenging area.
Yeah, so
So,
we actually create what's called What's Happening Here flyers for every one of our safety improvement projects. We'll be creating that for this project and putting it all along the corridor. As we mentioned, we already did outreach to the businesses, and so we already shared with them actually the What's Happening Here flyer so that they can also start informing their delivery drivers and customers. And yeah, my team will be out there actually delivering flyers along the corridor, and we'll be monitoring as we're going through implementation. So we'll also be on site.
yeah, because I thank you. It's really going to be needed, I think.
Thank
But
you,
I think it looks
Helene.
like it'll be improved. So appreciate the work you guys are doing.
Thank you, Helene, for raising those points. Very important. Guarinos. Guarinos against, I can't read the rest of it. You have a question or a comment?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yes. There
Okay.
you go.
Okay. So I have to, I'm simply
Who
amazed.
against
And
graffiti?
I have to commend the Department of Traffic for, after 4 years, restudying Fordham Road and coming back with an improved plan. I appreciate that so much as a Bronxite. Well, my question is basically, where are where are the bike lanes and the city bikes supposed to go? Because you have a very good reputation of putting them in all the other people's neighborhoods and on the blocks, taking away precious parking for racks of bike that nobody rides.
Sorry, what do you mean by where the city bike's supposed to go? You're saying just like bike access
The
on
bike
Fordham
lane.
Road?
You're so famous for bike lanes and city bikes racks. So where they supposed to go along Fordham? How the bike guy supposed to get by on Fordham Road?
Yeah, so I'll jump in here. Hi everyone, Nolan Levinson. On the same team as Leora at DOT. Yeah, so I think, Fordham, even though it is a wide street, has a pretty limited amount of space. So we're not looking at adding any bike lanes to Fordham Road itself. In recent years, we we, meaning DOT, has done a lot of work expanding the bicycle network in the Fordham area. And I believe we've worked, with the board here on various presentations, coming to you all with proposals. I think if there were to be city bike on Fordham Road itself, we would evaluate each site to see where a station might fit. But at this point, I couldn't say precisely where, without looking at each site.
Jean, you have a question, Jean?
Not so much a question as a comment. I'm hoping that you are not even thinking about putting bike lanes on Fordham Road. Fordham Road, as you say, is crowded enough. You're trying to make it more possible for the cars, the buses, and the delivery trucks to exist together. Throwing bike lanes up and down Fordham Road would just create a horror show, in my opinion. So I'm glad you're not thinking about putting any bike lanes up and down Fordham Road. I understand you put them on the side blocks. I understand you put them in 1,000 other locations, including where I live. But putting them on Fordham Road, I think, would be a terrible situation. That's just my opinion.
Really helpful feedback to have. So thank you everyone for sharing. And it's always a hard balance. And we do what we can with the space that we have, which is limited. So thank you all for sharing your opinions. Yeah.
I agree with Jean, and the other comment about the city bike is that there are racks and racks of city bikes taking up 2, 3, 4 what could be parking spaces, and they go unused. They're just sitting. I just saw this afternoon. Again, I passed 2 or 3 of those, and out of I don't know, 20 or 30 or whatever city bikes, there was maybe one that was taken out, and the others just sitting there going unused. But meanwhile, they're taking up like half a block of what could be and what was previously a parking space. Parking spaces, plural. So I think there needs to be again another reassessment about the city bike locations. Toby Buford.
So I just want to let Jean know and other members of the team that there are city bikes on Fordham Road, but they're on the west side. There's a group outside of DeVoe Park, and there's also a group of city bikes on Webster Avenue just by the Metro North. So there are some, but there's not anymore. And I am in agreement with the team. The less bikes, the better for that area.
I just want to make sure we're on the same page that the expansion for CB7 for this area, for that Fordham Road area, is completed. So the stations that are existing is all that we have planned. There's no plan to add more. I just want to clarify that our goal is to make it safe for all roadway users as the Department of Transportation. So while this project is not adding any additional cycling infrastructure, we do want to make sure that everyone can get around safely in the Bronx.
Councilmember Sanchez, how are you? You have a question or a comment?
Good. I have a comment. Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, big ups to CB7 for having a virtual meeting. I ran over to CB5. Now I'm glad I'm able to join. But hey, DOT. Hey, MTA, feel like we're seeing each other multiple times. I don't know. We had like 3 hearings in the last 2 weeks or something, and so many conversations. But I just first want to start off with gratitude for you being here, for you being at Community Board 5, and I believe you're also at Community Board 6 today. I really appreciate the outreach to our people so they can voice their concerns. I know that you're catching the same themes that I'm catching, right? Like they are concerned about the bike network, if not just city bike parking. They are concerned about the bus speeds and everything else, and they are concerned about access to the businesses for cars. So I actually am more here to talk to CB7 than I am to DOT and MTA because they already know what I think about all of this stuff. But so just wanted to share with you all in full transparency. the mayor invited me and other colleagues to the announcement where he announced the sort of like reuptake of this project earlier in the year. I did not go because I was upset that there had not been community conversation at the time. And since then, I further got upset later on and had some very important conversations with the commissioner and at DOT and with City Hall about making sure that this space was created so that all of the community boards would have your members and the committees. This committee would have a chance to be loud about what we are concerned about with any changes to Fordham Road. Just from my own perspective, right, as somebody who mostly is using public transit, like this is not the norm for me. I just wanted to get home in time for bedtime, so drove today. But I'm mostly on public transit when I'm on Fordham. And so just sharing from that perspective, knowing that, some 85% of our community is transiting through Fordham on public transit or on foot, probably 90% when you get to on foot. I'm just really concerned about having the intervention speed the buses up as much as possible. And so, I understand that where the DOT and MTA are landing on this offset bus situation, but I'm like you all have said, I'm really, really concerned about double parking when you have lost a lane to offset. You lost a lane because we're reintroducing parking to Fordham Road where we haven't had it since 2008, back when I was a teenager making a ruckus and my mom was yelling at me. And now, adding the parking back in is gonna limit the travel space even further. So it's just I'm afraid that there's gonna be more congestion. So I've asked DOT specifically, and not MTA directly, but to DOT, that whatever the curb management is, just really limits how long people can be in on the bus, sorry, on the parking lanes, right? So not just to reintroduce parking, like everybody now can park here, but have it be really limited, mostly loading, and maybe drop-offs and things like that, but really limiting how much people can stay there so that we can try to limit double parking. I'm skeptical about, how much this is going to improve bus service because let's be real, we know our neighbors, people block these lanes. But I just wanted to share that with you all in full transparency about the conversations that I had in the background with DOT. So I'm hoping, I know you are going to do this offset lane, but I really hope that you take into account all of the feedback that you're hearing from the three boards today. Even more than, the bids and the institutions. They're fun and they're important, but for me, this is the most important here, this perspective. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, council member. And I just want to say that we are here to gather feedback. We're here to listen to the community, and we look forward to working together on this project.
Stephen, I have a question.
Shoot.
I see on page 4 that you did an evaluation on bus performance. Is that something that you can share with the office? And then my other question is, both of these questions are more for MTA. Will you be keeping the same bus stops or will you be reducing them or increasing them?
The stops would stay the same.
You want to speak to bus speeds or should I?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Leora.
Rob. Oh, you're
Rob,
muted.
you're
I'm
muted.
sorry, what was the
There you
other
go.
question?
The other question was about bus speed performance and if there is anything we can share about bus speeds, other than the fact that they're averaging 5 miles per hour. Or as
Yeah, I
low
mean,
as that.
we do have, speed information that we had shared in the past, I think publicly. We can go back and see, look at that again or see what else we can, if there's something newer that we can release.
Thank you. Yes, and I was just saying this because I know that you referenced the offset bus lane on Webster Avenue. I have been on the 41 bus, and to the council member's point, there is a lot of double parked. There's a lot of double parking that happens there, and the bus still moves very, very slow, especially between Fordham all the way to Mochulo Parkway.
Yeah. Anyone else have a comment or question?
Can I say one more thing? I'm sorry. I just wanted to introduce Oriana. Oriana from our team. She's been here and taking notes the whole time. So just thank you, Oriana, for working an extra night.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, CM, for introducing me.
You have one more question, Stephen? Is that a new hand, Serial?
Yes.
No, I'm good.
I'm
I
serious.
don't have any more questions.
I do.
Does anybody else have a
I
question?
have a comment.
Go ahead.
I think when you're moving the bus lanes in the center there, nobody's going to double park in those, in the middle of a bus lane in the center. Near the curb is like where most of the action will take place, where the parking is and where the unloading will be. But the bus lane should never be blocked because it's now moved into the center part of the road, and I think that's a great, great idea of doing that. And to be clear, I am pro car and not an anti bike, just to let you know. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Oriana, did you want to say anything?
Hi, thank you. CM, Pirina.
Go
I
ahead.
just want to say that council member strongly supports improving bus speeds and pedestrian
You're good.
safety on
Sorry,
Fordham.
Oriana, you're good. I said it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, should we move on to the MTA presentation regarding the ADA for the Kingsbridge Road Station for the number 4?
I just want to say thank you so much for having us and passing to MTA.
Okay, thank you.
Right, thank you, everyone. I'm gonna share my screen right now. I just need permission, Carla.
One moment. Hold on.
No problem. Take your
Okay.
time.
Thank you, Jonathan.
There you go.
Great. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the 8A upgrades coming to Kingsbridge Road Station on the 4 line. My name is Jonathan Flynn. I'm the Assistant Director of Government Communications for the Bronx. I'm joined today by my MTA colleagues and members of the project team. Kingsbridge Station is part of 8A Package 7, a design-build bundle covering 2 stations in the Bronx, including 167th Street on the B&D. The MTA remains deeply committed to accessibility. In our current 2025-2029 capital plan, we have committed $7.1 billion in 8A upgrades. That's $2 billion more than our previous capital plan. Here's where we stand today. We have 115 accessible stations system-wide. Since 2020, we've completed 42 new stations. 36 stations are currently in construction, 18 stations are in design, and we have over 60 additional stations included in our 2025-2029 capital plan. Altogether, that will bring a total of 271 ADA stations coming on the horizon. We're truly excited to start the upgrades at this station, and I'm going to pass over to Nick, who's going to continue the rest of the presentation.
Can everyone hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Thank you, Jonathan. My name is Nicholas. I'm the Deputy Project Manager with 4Day Construction. I'm accompanied by a few of my team members, Sean, which is our Community Outreach Liaison, Tarek, which is our Project Executive, Andreas, which is our Construction Manager, and Brandon, which is our Assistant Super. On this slide here, we're going to go over the agenda. Topics include Kingsbridge Road scope of work, construction schedule, milestones, renderings, work and barrier locations, maintenance and protection of traffic, and the contacts portion. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is the scope of work. The project includes installing 2 new control areas with staircases and elevators on the Kingsbridge West and East sides of Jerome Avenue. 23 precast platform panels will undergo replacements. Track work, rubbing boards, and tactile will be performed to meet ADA compliance along the path of travel. The path of travel is defined from the elevator entrance on the platform to the ADA boarding area on the platform. Also, the path of travel will also receive communication and station upgrades. Next slide, please. Okay, our construction schedule and milestone overview. Design phases began late last year and will continue into the fourth quarter of the current year. Utility work is scheduled to start in the third quarter of this year, followed by structural work starting in the fourth quarter. Structural work will continue until early quarter 3 of 2028, at which point the elevators will be placed into customer service. Substantial completion is targeted for quarter 3 2028, with final completion expected by quarter 1 2029. Between substantial and final completion are just minor things like punch lists and just touch-up work. Next slide. What you see here is a rendering of from the point of view of Kingsbridge West, northwest corner. The elevator on the left side is the elevator that's adjacent to the armory. And in the distance on the southeast corner, you have the other elevator with the staircase. It gives you an idea of what it will look like. Oh, sorry, it's okay, Jonathan. So Kingsbridge Road station work location is street level. Here you see kind of an overview of the street level plan. The highlighted areas show the elevators and the new staircases. So we have the structure is a 2-story steel tower with an elevator machine room located at the mezzanine level heights. Customers will be able to take stairs or the elevator to the platform level, passing through turnstiles to board the southbound or northbound tracks. In these areas, we have some utility relocations, pile drillings, and concrete work are required for the steel erection to begin. And that's all taking place at street level. Next slide, please. This is the same locations, but at the mezzanine level or mezzanine height. This is the level between the control area and the street. And it also includes the required machine rooms, which are the blue highlights adjacent to the elevator. And also there are 2 MTA facility and electrical rooms inside the mezzanine, which will have their locations swapped to support these. Next slide, please. This is the platform level work. The orange areas indicate the new control areas. And also the shaded rectangles are the locations of the 23 platform panels that will be selectively replaced. And like I said, the orange areas are the platform level control areas and turnstile areas where you will enter the platform. Okay, and those orange areas where our new control areas will connect to the platform. You can go to the next slide, Jonathan. Thank you. We will assemble barricades. Construction barriers on the platform are only anticipated when the new control areas will penetrate the current platform windscreen. So basically, when we construct the control areas and we connect them to the platform, these barricades will be assembled. Most other platform work will take place during weekend outages and will be restored to its original look. This is like the rubbing board and the tactile and the ADA boarding area work. Next slide, please. So this is kind of a superimposed image on the southbound platform. It features standard transit blue barriers with inward swinging doors. The barriers will have all the necessary construction signs, durations, and clearance information. This current layout maintains an 8-foot clearance to the platform edge, which provides safe passage for the passengers. Next slide, please. This is the northbound platform. It basically mirrors the southbound platform. Same thing. We'll have all the proper construction signage. The doors will swing inwards, and we'll maintain an 8-foot clearance from the barrier to the platform edge. Okay, this is our maintenance and protection of traffic plan overview. This is the intersection. If hope it's clear enough for everyone, but this is the intersection of Kingsbridge Road and Jerome Avenue. Kingsbridge Road runs vertically, and Jerome Avenue runs horizontally. We have 3 locations here. The north location and the south location are where the significant structural construction will take place. The blue location to the right hand is a storage area. These 3 locations identify the street level areas we will occupy for the MPT. The north and south areas involve significant structural construction that will utilize cranes at some point. These areas also contain utility work. And like I said, the blue area will just be for storage, bathrooms, office trailers for the MTA and the contractors alike. Next slide, please. To give you a sense of how we will construct these barriers, we will use a mix of concrete jersey barriers and Yodoc jersey barriers. Concrete jersey barriers are used to protect workers from oncoming traffic, so they face vehicles, and then the plastic water-filled jersey Yodoc barriers equipped with fencing will face the sidewalk and the public. Next slide. So this is kind of a blown up view of that blue area we spoke about a few slides ago. This was the MPT staging area. This is where we'll have some of our office trailers, tool containers for the project. The staging area is situated on the west side of Jerome Avenue against the Armory to avoid taking up unnecessary space. We felt this location was a good location. This location also has been reviewed and approved by the DOT for storing tools and materials. One thing to note, we are maintaining a large 10-foot distance between the Armory property line and the beginning of our storage MPT. So clear passage. So this is kind of a superimposed image of the volume of space we will take up. Again, we will be using the concrete jersey barriers and water-filled Yodocs with a fence. So it will be, light will pass through it. I mean, it won't be like an 8-foot tall enclosure that won't pass light. I mean, you'll be able to see through it a little bit. And this is just kind of relative to this view is relative to the Armory on Jerome Avenue. Next slide, please. Okay, so MPT Plan East. This is the southeast corner where one of our elevators are going and our new staircase. This outlines the construction zone for the staircases, the elevators, and some utility relocation. Most work will occur within the barricade, but this gives you an idea of the protected barrier that we will perform our work within. Again, on East Kingsbridge Road. Okay, this is a superimposed image just to kind of display roughly the volume of space we will take up. We have concrete jersey barriers that will face the street, while plastic barriers will sit on the sidewalk. Barriers with fences are 8 feet tall, will not block businesses. We have a passage actually, I'm sorry, if we could back up one slide just to point out one thing. We are maintaining against the properties a 6-foot clearance walkway, as you can see depicted by the 2 arrows pointing vertically and vertically north and south. So we are maintaining a clear passage here. Back to the other slide, please. Again, this is our superimposed image. I was saying barriers are at least 8 feet tall and will not block businesses. Businesses can coordinate with us, the project team, to display banners with their name and phone number on the fencing. Though graphic images for the businesses will not be permitted, but if they feel that it's obstructing their signage, they can work with us and we can add signage to the barricade to display their business name and phone number. Next, MPT Plan West. This is on the West Kingsbridge Road, northwest corner, adjacent to the Armory. The staircase is against the armory. The staircase against the armory or adjacent to the armory will be closed approximately for a year to allow for structural work. Because there is insufficient space between the structure of the armory fence, pedestrians will be routed into the street. As you can see that we've constructed this walkway that maintains 6 feet, and the walkway is protected by concrete jersey barriers. Pedestrians will be safely separated from traffic by the concrete barriers. Once main structural work finishes, the MPT will be reduced and the staircase reopened. Next slide. So this is another image where we try to graphically represent the volume to give you an idea. Jersey barriers will protect pedestrians from both traffic and the construction site. Excuse me. The armory can request, just like the other side, to place signs on the fencing if so desired. Next slide. Okay, contacts. Our project CEO for the MTA is Emil Ezer. His email is listed as such. Project email, adapacket7@mtacd.org for inquiries. MTA Government and Community Relations is Jonathan Flynn, which introduced us. MTA Construction and Development, some additional emails you can contact, and important 24/7 hotline. This number can be called to if something should look out of sort, you can call this number and report it. This number will be present on all our barricades and signage across the project. And this concludes our presentation, and I hand it back to or open it up for questions. Thank you.
Guarinos against graffiti. Forgive me, I forgot your first name.
Nicholas.
Nicholas. Good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Basically, I'm glad to see the elevators coming. That's going to be fantastic. I'm very concerned about the traffic flow because of the schools that are there. There's like 3 schools there, no, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Schools there that are really going to be affected. And you got the school buses, you got parents dropping off their kids. And also, I'm very want to know, what are you going to do with all the vendors that you're going to displace when you put up that barrier on Kingsbridge?
Okay. So the vendors, you mean the newsstand next to the
No.
armory?
No.
Which
You
vendors?
don't know your area too well, do you?
Oh, you're talking about the food vendors on the street vendors?
Yeah, our hardworking vendors that sell things on that strip there to make a living. Where are they gonna go?
So if I remember correctly, I think this is along the armory is what you're referring to, where people sell different types of items. Uh, I Our barricades will take up space to perform this structural work to support to construct the elevator, but the armory is a very long block. I I would imagine that they would just kind of shift over a little bit because that fence runs pretty much that whole
Some
very
of
long.
these vendors are very hard-headed. They once they got their spot, they don't give it up.
I understand.
Yeah. And we're going to work with all community stakeholders to make sure that their businesses aren't disrupted too much. So this project will start mobilizing early July. The first week of June, my team's going to go out there and we're going to coordinate with the businesses in that particular area.
Thank you,
Forgive
Joe.
my ignorance, but it looks like, according to your plans, it will take 2 to 2.5 years to complete this. So that means traffic will be disrupted, I think, to a great extent on both Jerome Avenue and Kingsbridge Road area for 2.5 years. And that's a heavy intersection, and that's correct. There's 3, 4, 5 schools in that area. Is
So
there any way, forgive my ignorance, is there any way to speed up that timetable to reduce it from 2.5 years to 1 year?
sure. Well, let me clarify first. In regards to traffic, we are not blocking any lanes. We are just we are occupying parking lanes to some degree on the west and east side of Kingsbridge. So all the lanes will run the way they are now. We won't be obstructing the actual traffic lanes. There is a slight obstruction on the turning lane coming from Jerome to the West Kingsbridge. And we're working with the DOT, performing a synchro analysis to determine our impact. But at the moment, it doesn't seem that we are impacting the flow of traffic too much. But we are occupying parking spots with our MPT at the east and west Kingsbridge roads. And the second part to the acceleration, we as a team look for opportunities to accelerate the project. So if some should arise, we will definitely capitalize on that. But at the moment, the project schedule is where it is because we are in the design phase. I hope that answers a little bit the question.
Any other questions?
I have a
comments?
question.
Sure.
Sure.
Sure, Lo.
What's the status of the number 28 bus stop right at, we're going, for lack of a, we're going south at the corner of Jerome and Kingsbridge. What's the status of that bus stop on the 28?
Sorry, accent, is it going away because of the project? Like what's
Going away, you're gonna move it? Will you have enough spaces for people to get off?
Is this the bus stop that's next to the McDonald's? Is that?
No, there's no bus
Are you referring to the one in front of Morton Williams or the one that's across the street?
across the street. There are two bus stops there. I'm talking
Right,
about
so
the one right in front of the armory.
There's parking spots in front of the armory.
No, there is a.
It's not any bus stop is gonna be moved over there. All the bus stops are gonna be on the same place.
Right.
We're not moving any bus stops.
Bus stops is not getting interfered with anything.
Okay, and I also have another question because we've run into it other places. The MTA has clear access to the spot. You don't have to deal with the Parks Department, any state people. You're good. You have clear authorization of the sites you have selected.
Yes, MDA has clear from the state, from everywhere to put the elevators on southwest corner and east-west corner.
Northwest
South, whatever, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And just to add on, earlier, I know that Nick had a question about the vendors alongside the Armory building. We've been working with them and speaking with them, so they're very much aware of where our MPTs are going to land. So they've been very much friendly and inviting also. So they're going to be accommodating, with us, and we'll be working with them to make sure no interruptions in the businesses. So we've been doing a lot of outreach within the community, the business owners, where our MPTs are going to lie and be for the next time being for the project. So we've been notifying, and they're very much aware in the community that we're going to be working there. And our job is to get in and be efficient and make sure we deliver our product, but also have a very limit of disruption in the community. So, they understand, and everybody's been cooperative.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you. Edgar, I think you have your hand raised. Edgar Ramos. Edgar? You're muted, Edgar.
Sorry, you're gonna have to get back to me. Basically, what I was gonna say was they're gonna do there like they did over on by Bushwick Parkway, where the main transit lane was clear, but they took over the side lanes for the construction vehicles and equipment.
I'm sorry. Can you
repeat that, Edgar,
Yeah,
a little bit louder?
Yeah,
I'm not.
when
I'm
they
not
did
familiar.
when
One sec.
Andreas, wait 1 second.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
when
Go
they
ahead,
did the
Andrew.
elevator construction on Municipal Parkway, you guys didn't impact the traffic lane. You guys put everything, the equipment and everything on the parking lane.
Correct.
Just closed it off, but kept the travel lane going. I guess he wants to put it back on his right one. Which arm you want?
So we are occupying the parking lanes. We are not blocking the traffic lanes.
Yeah, yes, that's what Edgar was saying, and he's correct.
Yes,
That's similar to
correct.
what we did at Marshall Parkway. Yes.
Nicholas, do you have another question? Your hand is raised.
Syria. It's Syria. Syria, go ahead.
Thank you. Basically, back to the parking. The flow of traffic doesn't affect the people moving through the traffic. Don't live in that neighborhood. The losing all that parking space for 3 years is going to impact the community in that area. And you said you had big outreach. I don't think you reached out to the car owners who have to park there and fight over parking spaces, because as you heard before this meeting, MTA is famous for giving up parking for bike lanes and city bike racks that get unused, and bike lanes that remain empty throughout the most of the Bronx. And now you're influxing parking where a lot of people use the parking because of the schools, and there's no room, and they drive in, and you got the students going to Lehman College, and you got the parents trying to bring their kids to the place there, and you're eliminating a lot of parking, and that's going to create a big bottleneck of problems.
Yeah, and the parking situation is only going to be temporary, and the long-term benefits are greater than that. But I definitely hear your concerns.
How can the long term be greater than that if the people are not who are driving in the cars parking are not using the elevators to go up to the subway? So you're confusing me with that answer. What
Thank you, Syria.
long term the thing? I mean, long term to who? Not to the drivers.
I could clarify that. So once the elevators is up and running, we're going to restore those parking spots. So it's not we're not taking it permanently. It's only temporarily.
And I'll just add that we try to design our MPT to be as small as possible while housing all the structural work for these additions. So we were mindful to try to take the least amount of parking as possible for this project. So
A lot of your workers are going to be driving in because they ain't riding in the.
Syria, you have to raise your hand, Syria.
I was going.
Syria,
He's
can I
muted.
just jump in? Syria, think about the amount of people. You're right. There are so many schools. There's a nursing home. There are people in wheelchairs that really can't get around. It's a very important project. We should have done this years ago.
To make it ADA compliant. Yeah.
Absolutely. You're going to be changing lives.
They have Assessor Ride, which is very more convenient for people in wheelchairs to get around and try to get up and down on the subways. Assessor Ride is a program that should be expanded more, because that would save a lot more money for the city and the state. And thank God the state does provide Assessor Ride.
Toby Buford, you have your hand raised.
So a couple of things. We have a humongous project about to begin in 2027 with the Kingsbridge Armory.
Right.
Has the MTA discussed anything with the group of people that will be managing and developing and revitalizing the armory? That's a question. The other thing is, and this is me thinking in the future, because I'm thinking about the armory and I'm thinking about the ADA. And as a person that is understands ADA, I'm wondering if there is a plan to connect the D train to the 4 train earlier than it is connected at 161st Street?
So I can answer the first part, and then I'll defer to Jonathan for the second. So as far as the Armory, we reached out to EDC, which is the it's called NYC EDC. They're the owner of that asset. And we presented a similar presentation to them to let them know what's going on. And we also needed to access the building to install monitors for vibration for our job site. So they're well aware of our schedule, and they've agreed to license access to their building for us as well. So they are on board with the project as well, and they have cited no conflict in schedule as of today, as of the last discussion.
Yeah. And Toby, in terms of your second question, at this moment, that is not the plan.
Edgar, you have your hand raised.
Thank you.
Yeah, the question I have is DOT came a couple of months ago and they had a plan to fix Jerome Avenue from Fordham Road to Bedford Park to try to make it safer for crossings and different things for pedestrians. Is this in any way going to impact what they're going to do or what they're planning to do?
So Edgar is referring to the Safe to Schools project.
So that shouldn't affect that project at all. And also, we work closely with DOT. So if there's any issues, we'll work together to resolve any of those issues. But it shouldn't affect that project at all.
Thank you, Jonathan. I have a question in regards to the promo placing on the MPTs. Is that something that's going to be free of charge? Are you open to maybe adding some art to the trying to envision? Is it going to be a container? I know there's a few people in the meeting who are very anti-graffiti, and we don't need any more graffiti in the area. So I'm wondering if you would be open to adding murals, perhaps, or like you said, working with the businesses around the area to add their own promo to the containers.
To the if I may, the MTA barriers, the MPT barriers are they're only 2 feet high in terms of the structural part of it, like a concrete barrier or the water-filled geodocs, and then the rest are just fences with like a mesh, like a see-through mesh. So what we mentioned was that if the businesses adjacent to the MPT felt that we were obstructing their signage, we would work with them to perhaps display their business name and phone number, but nothing with graphics. So, and to further answer the question, there really isn't a good area to, as much as that sounds interesting, there wouldn't be an area to apply the art. And it would be a heavy construction area. I'm not sure if the art would survive, you know.
Yeah. And the open for business banners will be free of cost to the businesses.
And just to add on, we're going to be doing a daily walkthrough of the site around our MPT to ensure we are doing housekeeping. So again, a morning walkthrough will be done to make sure any graffiti on our barricades are taken care of. So we kind of limit that, continuing and being an issue. So it'll be a daily morning walkthrough, evening, and before we leave, we'll have walkthroughs to ensure that we're upkeeping our housekeeping and making sure we keep the community alert that we're doing our due diligence to keep our work area clean inside and outside.
Thank you, Brandon.
I have a comment. Will this work help chase away the pigeons?
It may. With hopefully. We're going to be in there for a while, so I don't think the pigeons will be making any nest there while we're working.
The pigeon still is going to be there. They're not living. It's very hard to get rid of the pigeons.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I have one more question.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Were,
Edgar.
were you the same contractors involved with the Shula Parkway?
No.
Oh, because when they started that project, they were supposed to have notifications to the community board, and there was a kind of a breakdown in that communication when you guys got to different stages.
Yeah.
So we hope you guys keep good communication with the community board so we know where you're at the different stages. Also, we're concerned because there was a garbage issue, even though they were supposed to maintain it cleanliness, they kind of weren't sometimes. We had a lot of complaints from the neighborhoods.
Our work area is gonna be maintained daily. For graffiti and stuff like that, I don't know because I don't know what the people are doing every night there. Nobody's gonna be there to watch them. But for maintain garbage and stuff, they're gonna be maintained every morning. Every morning, somebody has to go around and take care of the stuff for my people.
Yeah, it's standard procedure. We sweep the site and every morning we check for things.
Yeah, and Edgar, in terms of communication, I'll work closely with Carla to make sure the community board is getting updates as well as elected officials and community stakeholders.
I
That would be
appreciate
great
that.
because, as it was mentioned, the Kingsbridge Armory construction should be going on also. So it's going to be very busy, very active area.
Everybody there to work together with people, if they need help or they need something from us, I'm there to help and work with everybody.
Okay.
You have one more question, Stephen?
I had a question up also when you get a chance.
Gene, all right, go ahead, Gene.
No, I'm glad that Eddie brought up the point that we are not always getting all of the information in the community. Like I'm at the Meshulah number 4 train station, right? So recently they had closed off the southbound side. They never informed anybody why they were doing it. We just came downstairs one day, and as we walked up the block, they had blocked off that whole entranceway. You had to go across the street to the northbound side to come and walk across the platform to catch the train going southbound. Nobody ever told us why they were doing that. They just decide they're going to do stuff, but they don't tell you that. So that's a very big inconvenience, not only for community stakeholders, but you know what, we should always be informed. If you're going to make changes like that, at least let the community know what you're doing. And to other point that Eddie made, like part of the side street parking is still, entrance side street is still closed off. They're still doing work on both sides, but we don't know what they're doing or how long it's going to take for them to do whatever they're doing. So for you to even to access the northbound platform where the elevator actually is, you have to practically go around the corner to get on the to catch the subway. And then when they closed off the southbound side, nobody put up a sign, nobody said anything. They just closed the whole thing off. And you walked up there to get on the subway, realizing you had to cross the street because there was no southbound entrance for you to catch the subway, unless you went all the way down to the end of block, which was closer to Tracy. So we need to be informed when they make these kind of decisions, because it does affect everybody in the community. Remember that not only do you have Tracy Towers there, you have North Central Bronx, you have Montefiore Hospital, you have all of these people coming and going, and you don't give us any kind of information. So I'm glad he asked, are you the same company that was doing that work? Because they don't keep us informed like they should. And since there's going to be a whole lot more with the Kingsbridge station, because now you have the Kingsbridge project is going to start going into effect, please keep everybody informed. Let the community stakeholders know, let the community board know, let everybody know what the heck it is that you're doing. That's all I have to say.
It's always I'm posting signs a week before on the station for the next move is gonna be done. If I have to close something or I have to do something different, always I post signs on the station, on the mezzanine, on the platform, on my barricades downstairs, on the staircases. I post signs all over the place, but sometimes people they don't pay attention. to see the signs.
No, I understand people don't always read. I get that part. But I know from what they did over here on Mashula Parkway, they didn't put up the signs. So it wasn't a question of, oh, there was no sign. You had a sign and people weren't reading it. They didn't tell us anything. They just went and made these changes and didn't inform us. So as long as you adhere to what you're saying to us and you keep everybody informed, everybody will be good with that.
And I'll just add, it sounded like that job, they had a lot of different shifting phases or MPTs. Our site is going to remain, our MPT is going to remain pretty much the same throughout the project. And if it does change, it'll become smaller. Just a note.
Toby Buford, you have a question or a comment?
I have I just want to let everyone know that we need to be conscious of the fact that there are actually 3 construction things taking place, because by the Kips Bay School is an apartment building will be coming up. So in that area, we're going to have 3 major, for possibly 3 years, constructions going. And I just want to put it out there because what comes to my mind is the potential for accidents. Don't want to see that, because I know we are conscious of making sure the area will be safe, but I just want to make us aware that 3 things are occurring in that small little area. So if we can be extra diligent, do our due diligence, maybe have extra safety measures in place, it will be great.
Thank you for that, Toby.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jonathan. Anybody else have a comment or question? Okay. Carla, you have anything?
No, we are good. Thank you to all the agencies that came and all the colleagues. We have recorded the meeting. We will be adding the meeting to YouTube. And if there are any additional questions, we'll make sure that we follow up.
Very good. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
And all you MTA people, the MTA team, thank you. And the council member and Oriana and everybody, thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Have
Good luck with it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.